This is how to change the wheel bearing on a 96 Ram 1500 four-wheel drive. I'm no professional mechanic, but for those who don't have impact guns and all those cool tools that the people with money have, this is how you do it. I don't condone or recommend the procedures within this video, but for a regular guy, I want to change a wheel bearing on a truck. This is how you do it. It's four-wheel drive, and when I make a left or a right, the whole truck goes barely moves, and it makes a clicking noise in two-wheel drive, driving straight or reverse. So we're gonna change a wheel bearing. Hopefully that'll do it. Little side note for the future do-it-yourselfers of America: if you haven't done a lot of jobs and your wheel is stuck on there, mechanics and physics and people use a thing we like to call leverage. Basically, I call this the persuader. The lug won't come off. You get a long pipe, stick it on the end of it, and it'll make it crack. If you use the end of the pipe, it'll make it come off real easy. I'll show you. Do it with my pinky. Whereas I couldn't even turn it from the lug wrench alone. Okay, well, the wheel's off. And here you're left with your basic rotor assembly with the caliper, which is your braking system that has to come off. 99.9% of calipers have two bolts to take off. One up top, right here, and one on the bottom. Take those off, and this whole piece here should come right off. It'll slide off. You can either dangle it to the side, or if you want to be smart, you hook it up somewhere so you're not ripping or pulling on your rubber brake hose. I originally said this was going to be a wheel bearing job, but upon further inspection, this is why you want to make sure you know what you're doing. It's not the wheel bearing, and you can tell because it's not making much noise. Usually if it's a wheel bearing, this would make noise or it would sound like marbles in a glass jar, but all you hear is the brake pad on the rotor. So that inquired me to look further. My universal joint on my front axle is completely shot. See how that's not good, folks. And I didn't even know that was the problem. It's supposed to look like that. Let's see if you can see here. See how there's a cap there and it doesn't move, but the other side doesn't have that cap. Apparently it's fallen off and I'm left with this messed up setup. So if you wanted to know how to change a wheel bearing, I'm sorry, this isn't the job. But now you'll know how to change a universal joint. Alright, well, I think this is the only video on YouTube showing how to actually take the front U-joint out. So, caliper's off. Now we're taking apart where the tie rod connects, the upper boot. There's a nut there that came off. And now we're getting the bottom nut. Then we're going to put an impact wrench on that. And we're going to hit these three bolts here. 1, 2, and there's another one, which will take our whole wheel bearing out. And then we'll be able to hit the U-joint on the inside. Alright, all the bolts are off. Basically, we just hit with a hammer. I know it sounds weird, but you're gonna bang this here. Right here, you're just banging on the side, and that'll slide right out. Now we're gonna take the bigger hammer, and we're gonna beat the crap out of this. I know it doesn't sound like the shop way to do it, but trust me, it's the way they're doing it. You're gonna hit the side of it, right here. The bolt's there. You're gonna bang at the side, right here. So you're not going to bend anything. You're going to hit it really hard. And then you're going to hit this on the side. Really hard. And this will slide down about a ½ an inch to give you the clearance you need. Okay. Everything I previously said is gone to crap. As with any project, you never know what's going on. We had to use the sledgehammer and the sawzall to cut the lower ball joint. So now we got to get a new lower ball joint. We might get an upper. So usually you take the bolts off and it slides out. In this case we had to cut stuff. So if you're a newbie working on a truck, this is what not to do. Get your local mechanic to help. Luckily we improvised and we used some stuff. We got lucky. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is why this is my hobby, not my profession. I did have a bad bottom ball joint. So what we did was we hacksawed it. We actually took a sawzall, cut it. But that didn't help us put it back together. So what we figured out in learning is in order to put this unit on, you have to take the ball bearing out. Now, like I said, this was originally what I thought the problem was. But it's not the problem. So you got to take this off first, which will leave you with this assembly here. Then you can put the assembly on, and then you put the axle through there, which I'll show you in a second once I tighten up all the nuts here. And then you can put your wheel bearing back on. Sorry, this is the worst video ever. Now that our assembly's in place, I'm gonna put in the axle. The axle just slides right in. Might have to feel around for where the gears are touching. That was the problem, by the way. The new universal joint there. That's gonna be up to someone else's to teach you. Will slide right in. You might have to feel, turn it or spin it to get it to go into the gear in the housing. But that's about it. And then we're gonna put our wheel bearing back on.